Listen, the internet is shaking right now, and fans are scrambling to make sense of what just went down. Because in a twist, nobody from Chicago to the entire rap blogosphere saw coming. Lil Durk's lawyer just made a move that has everybody talking. And according to insiders close to the fictional storyline we're covering today, this might have changed everything just 1 month before the big trial. And when I say changed everything, I mean, people are calling this the kind of legal twist you usually only see on reality TV, when producers are trying to spike the ratings. Now, before we go any further, let's be clear. This is a dramatic, entertainment-style recounting part real-world context, part fictionalized storytelling the way rap news YouTube channels love to exaggerate for clicks. But even with that said, the vibes around Durk's camp in this fictional scenario are tense. Sources close to the camp in this dramatic retelling are saying emotions are all over the place. One person who wanted to remain anonymous because they're not trying to end up in the next diss track claimed the energy shifted overnight. And listen, fans are shocked. Some are whispering that this lawyer move feels too strategic. Others are saying it might be the moment the entire case flipped upside down, and a few are even calling it the calm before the sind. My only lipstick, my only lipstick. Ruby kiss, ruby kiss. Only ruby kiss has delight. Only ruby kiss has the enwarment my jack. My roomy kiss as the lie-jade's long kiss. And Livy's delightness, my lie. Silly, long seed. My lies lie malide seed, you care to my light. My seed, seed sick, it sells, paid by will, play sell diet, beasted, with syllab. I kiss it, by the ray it I day, go round my lie cod be sake I se. Hurricane. Social media is already in shambles, with hashtags forming out of nowhere. It's giving chaos, it's giving suspense, it's giving reality TV mixed with courtroom thriller. But here's the part that has everyone glued to their screens. Apparently, this wasn't just a legal filing. It was a statement, a message, a warning shot. And depending on who you ask, it might have been aimed at the prosecution, the witnesses, or maybe even Durk's own circle in this fictionalized storyline. And trust me, you're going to want to hear everything. The moment the news broke about Lil Durk's lawyer making that unexpected legal move, the entire rap world in this fictional storyline felt like it paused for a second. The same way a studio goes dead silent right before someone drops a diss verse that could end careers. But what fans didn't know was that things behind the scenes had already been bubbling for weeks. Insiders in this dramatized retelling said the tension in Durk's camp had been building like pressure in a closed studio booth. People weren't speaking, longtime friends were avoiding each other. And even the security team was noticing the shift in energy. One person in the camp claimed, in hushed tones, it felt like something was coming, but nobody knew what. So when Durk's lawyer suddenly filed this new motion in our fictional storyline, the kind of motion that instantly turned everyone's head, it wasn't just a legal action. It was like striking a match in a room filled with gasoline fumes. The mood changed fast, and everyone close to the situation felt it. According to the dramatic retelling, the lawyer walked into the office that morning with a completely different vibe. Normally calm, normally collected, but today, serious, focused, like someone who had just made a decision that could shift the entire deserve. An entire please, ruby kiss. Only ruby kiss, as a luxurious has, only ruby kiss has the luxurious. Kiss were prowoted so serious. And lively so words, muse so wise, movie so walk. Muse.live, muse ply, so lies, die cord. Muse clays polyed, combued, muse play. Comord silic, malad quaid, my beside, canops, but with a condoid. Buy it I CAD. I since it's a game. One staff member claimed they overheard the lawyer mutter, "They're not ready for this," before disappearing into a conference room with their team. And that one sentence was enough to spark a wildfire of speculation in group chats, fan pages, and even rival camps. Fans were asking each other, "What does that mean? Who's they? What's about to happen?" Nobody had answers, but everyone had theories. Some fans said the lawyer had discovered something massive in the case, something the prosecution didn't expect to come back up. Others whispered that a witness was suddenly switching sides, or that some evidence had been re-examined. And then there were those who believed this was all part of a bigger strategy that Durk and his team had been quietly working on. Whatever it was, emotions were high. You could practically feel the nervous electricity through the comments, but the real drama kicked in later that evening. According to our fictional insiders, Durk himself called an emergency meeting at his rental house outside Atlanta. It wasn't the usual music meeting, or a family gathering, or anything like that. No lights, no studio equipment, no producers. Just chairs, a long table, notebooks, and a room full of people who suddenly understood that this wasn't one of those casual "let's talk about it later" situations. This was urgent. When Durk walked into the room, he wasn't wearing the usual chain, the usual smile, or even the relaxed posture fans see on social media. In this dramatized portrayal, he looked heavy, like someone carrying too many thoughts at once. He sat down slowly, tapping his finger on the table, staring at everyone before saying, "Y'all need to hear this before anybody else does." The room went silent. Even the person taking notes put their pen down. Then the lawyer stepped forward with a folder in their hand. "What we're about to discuss," they said, their voice calm but tense, "is going to change how this trial moves. But it's also going to change how the people around you move." A few heads turned. Some people exchanged nervous looks. This didn't sound like regular lawyer talk. This sounded like something deeper. The lawyer opened the folder, and that's when the chaos started. Because according to this fictional version of events, inside that folder were documents, screenshots, statements, and a few pieces of evidence that raised eyebrows instantly. One of Durk's cousins, sitting near the end of the table, leaned forward and whispered, almost to himself, "Ain't no way this real." But the lawyer nodded. "This is real," they said. And it came from someone none of us expected. Everyone's eyes widened, and you could practically feel the temperature in the room drop. No music, no talking, no phone buzzing, just silence. Durk leaned back in his chair. "Why would they do that?" he asked softly, his voice low, almost disappointed instead of angry. The lawyer didn't answer at first. Instead, they pulled out one more document, slid it across the table, and let everyone look at it. One person gasped. Another covered their mouth. Someone else muttered, "Damn," under their breath in this fictional storyline. It turned out that someone close to the circle, someone who had been around for years, someone people trusted, had been talking to the prosecution. Not officially snitching, not signing anything, but talking enough to raise serious questions about loyalty. But the plot twist. The lawyer had records of it, receipts, exact conversations. The type of conversations that could be used in court to challenge credibility. And that was the move the lawyer made. The legal motion wasn't just about evidence. It was about showing the court that a key voice in the case might not be reliable at all. And when reliability goes down, everything changes. But even though that sounded good on paper, emotionally, it was a bomb. Durk put his hands over his face and exhaled slowly. "I knew it," he whispered. "I knew something was off these last few months." His voice shook a little, not from fear, but from betrayal. Fans love to imagine rap beefs and internet drama. But when it's someone in your own circle, when it's someone you shared tables, cars, and memories with, the pain hits different. And that's exactly what this fictional moment captured. The family, according to insiders, was split. Half of them thought the lawyer did the right thing bringing this forward. The other half felt like exposing the person, even legally, was only going to stir up more backlash, more drama, more noise around Durk at the worst possible time. People raised their voices. One person slammed their hand on the table. Another stormed out for 5 minutes to cool down. This supposed to help, not make everything worse, one family member said, wiping their face in frustration. But the lawyer remained steady. It will help, they said, but only if everyone stays focused. We're 1 month away. This isn't the time to let emotions make decisions. Those words hit the room hard. Because as tense as things were, everyone knew they were in the final stretch. And anything could happen in the next 30 days. Durk finally stood up, walked to the front of the room, and said quietly but firmly, "Ain't nobody saying nothing to nobody outside this house." His tone wasn't angry, but it was final. The room nodded just when things seemed to be calming. Another twist came. A phone buzzed. Durk looked down at the screen, and his expression changed instantly. Not fear, not annoyance, but confusion. Maybe even disbelief. He handed the phone to his lawyer, slowly, and said, "You need to see this." The lawyer took Durk's phone, adjusted their glasses slightly, and stared at the screen with a look that no one in the room could immediately read. It wasn't panic, but it wasn't calm either. It was something in between, something that made everyone else sit forward with their hearts pounding. The lawyer's eyes scanned whatever message or notification had popped up, and for a few seconds, the room was completely still. Even the air felt heavier. Durk sat back down slowly, waiting. The lawyer finally exhaled and shook their head. "This just got more complicated," they said quietly. Everyone started talking at once. "What happened? What is it? Who texted?" But the lawyer raised their hand. "One at a time. Everyone stay seated." That tone, low but firm, brought the room back to silence. The lawyer turned to Durk. "You didn't respond to this, right?" Durk shook his head. "Nah, I ain't say nothin'. It came through while you were talking." The lawyer nodded. "Good. Don't respond. Don't open anything else. Don't call this number back." Someone from the other side of the table asked, "Who is it?" "What did they say?" asked, "Who is it?" "What did they say?" In this fictional retelling, lawyer finally revealed the truth. The message was from the same person exposed in the documents. Earlier, the one secretly talking to the prosecution. The one whose words could twist the direction of an entire trial. And according to the lawyer, the message wasn't a simple "call me" or "we need to talk." It was a voice note, almost 2 minutes long. The room froze. Durk rubbed the back of his neck. "You think they know we found out?" he asked. The lawyer sighed. "Maybe. Or maybe they're panicking because something shifted on their side. Either way, we can't play into whatever this is. Not yet." But curiosity was eating at everyone. Even people who barely spoke during meetings were leaning forward, waiting to hear what the lawyer would say next. Finally, the lawyer pressed play, but held the phone close so only they could hear it. And as the audio played, the lawyer's expression changed second by second. Eyebrows tightening, jaw clenching, eyes narrowing. It was the kind of reaction that made everyone's pulse spike. One of Durk's homies whispered, "This ain't looking good." Under his breath, the lawyer ended the message and kept staring at the phone for another moment before finally explaining what was said in the fictional voice note. "They're scared," the lawyer said. "They said somebody approached them earlier today, told them things were shifting. They think the prosecution is losing confidence." The whole room erupted. Losing confidence. Someone repeated, "How? Why?" But the lawyer wasn't done. The person said something else. Something strange. They said someone warned them that new information might surface. And they said they didn't want to get caught in the middle. The room went silent again. One of Durk's cousins frowned. Middle of what? Nobody even knows what's going on. The lawyer shook their head. That's the thing. Either someone on the prosecution side is feeding them fear, or someone else, someone we don't know yet, is stirring the pot on purpose. This new angle shook everyone. Because it didn't just mean betrayal. It didn't just mean leaks. It meant multiple forces might be moving behind the scenes, and none of them were predictable. Durk leaned forward. So what do you think? You think someone is trying to spook them into flipping harder? Or you think someone is trying to pull them away? The lawyer thought for a moment. Honestly, it could be both. And that's why this is dangerous. If they panic and say something out of fear, it could get twisted. If they switch sides again, the prosecution could try to use it as leverage. If they disappear, that creates a whole different set of issues. We have to be very careful handling this. The tension thickened. You could practically hear everyone's heartbeat in the silence. This wasn't just drama anymore. This was strategy layered with emotion, fear, loyalty, and confusion. One of Durk's longtime friends stood up suddenly. Nah, I don't like this, he said, pacing back and forth. Somebody messing with the situation. Too many voices, too many angles. Somebody trying to make Durk look unstable. They trying to make the whole thing messy so nobody knows who to trust. Another nodded. That's facts. This whole thing feels set up. But then came another twist. The lawyer's phone buzzed loudly. Everyone jumped a little. The lawyer picked it up, looked at the caller ID, and their expression tightened even more. I have to take this, they said, and stepped into the hallway. The door closed behind them. Inside the room, chaos started again. Some people whispered theories. Others argued about who could be behind the message. A few just sat there, silent, worried, staring at the table. One of the younger members of the team muttered, "This is turning into a movie," and nobody disagreed. After nearly 10 minutes, the lawyer returned, and the look on their face made everyone sit up straight. "Okay," the lawyer said, closing the door behind them. That call was from someone downtown. And we have a new problem. Or, depending how you look at it, maybe a new opportunity. Durk's eyes narrowed. What happened now? The lawyer took a deep breath. They want to move up the pretrial hearing. The room exploded. What? Why? How soon? They can do that. Voices overlapped, the room buzzing with panic and confusion. Quiet, the lawyer said firmly. The room fell silent again. They want to move it up to next week. Someone slammed their hand on the table. Next week? Bro, we ain't ready for next week. Durk didn't say anything at first. He just stared at the lawyer, waiting. The lawyer continued. They didn't give a reason yet, but I can guess. Either they're trying to force our hand, or they're reacting to something they heard. Maybe that same person who messaged you. Maybe someone else. But something shifted today, and we need to figure out why. Durk frowned. You think they know about the motion already? Possibly, the lawyer said. Or maybe they know something we don't. That's what worries me. The room filled with stress again. Phones were buzzing. People were whispering too loudly. One person stepped outside to call someone. Another was pacing. It felt like the entire foundation of the case had tilted in the last hour. Durk finally stood up and spoke, his voice calm but strong. Listen, everybody. I know this got y'all shook. I'm feeling it too. But panicking don't help us. We gotta move smart. If they moving the hearing, we moving with it. We tighten up. We stay quiet. We let the lawyer lead. For a moment, the room settled. But the peace didn't last long. Because then, The person who had stormed out earlier came back inside. And they were holding their phone with a look that made everyone go quiet again. "Yo, y'all need to see this," they said. They held up the phone and on the screen, a leaked message thread. The same person who had been talking to the prosecution was now messaging a blogger. The room went completely silent. Durk's eyes widened as he stared at the screen. The blogger on the other end wasn't just any social media account. It was one of the top pages that breaks news in the rap world. In this fictionalized story that meant anything posted there could spread like wildfire in minutes. Everyone in the room realized instantly how dangerous this was. The lawyer stepped forward slowly, their expression unreadable. "Okay," they said, voice low. "This changes the game. If this message goes public, it doesn't just affect the trial. It affects everything around its fans, media, even people in your own circle. We need to handle this carefully." Durk nodded, swallowing hard. "So what now? You think they trying to leak info to spin the story, or they just trying to get clicks?" The lawyers shook their head. "Could be both. And it's tricky, because whoever is behind this knows exactly how to manipulate perception. The minute the blogger posts, everyone's gonna pick a side, true or not." The cousin who had been quiet for a while finally spoke. "Bro, this person, the one talking to the prosecution, are they trying to start drama inside the family too?" "Maybe," the lawyer admitted. "Could be. That's why we have to be smarter, faster, and keep this in-house until we know the full scope." As the lawyer explained next steps, a heated argument started to bubble in the room. One of the family members said, "Why are we even letting this slide? This ain't just a phone message. This is betrayal. They need to be called out now." Another countered, "Calling them out publicly ain't gonna help. It's gonna make things worse. The last thing we need is media having a field day, twisting the story, painting Durk like he's unstable or can't handle his circle." Durk raised a hand, trying to calm everyone. "Listen, we ain't reacting yet. First we find out why they talking to the blogger. Then we figure out how to deal with it. Yelling, calling names, that ain't solving nothing." The lawyer nodded, pacing slightly. "We're gonna have to dig. Fast, check the messages, screenshots, timestamps, everything. And figure out if this is a coordinated move or just someone panicking because they feel cornered." The room felt like it was about to explode with tension. People whispered to each other, eyes darting, phones buzzing in pockets. Fans on social media would have gone wild if they knew, but in this fictionalized moment, it was all contained inside that room. Then another twist hit. A knock on the door. Durk looked up, annoyed. "Who is it now?" The lawyer opened the door slightly. "Security says there's someone outside. They claim they're just delivering a package, but they won't leave the porch." Durk frowned. "Package? We ain't ordered nothing." They opened the door cautiously. A man stood there holding a plain envelope. He didn't speak, just handed it over and walked away. The lawyer took it, tore it open carefully, and the room collectively leaned in. Inside were photos several taken over the past week, apparently without anyone noticing. The pictures showed members of Durk's team meeting with unknown individuals at different locations. Some photos were clear. Others were shadowed, but enough was visible to make everyone uneasy. "They got receipts for days," one family member muttered. "This is wild." "Exactly," the lawyer said. "And now we know this isn't just a message or voice note. It's a campaign. Someone is trying to pressure, manipulate, or provoke reactions from multiple angles. Court, media, insiders. Everything is connected." Durk leaned back in his chair, rubbing his forehead. "So what? We just sitting here? We waiting for them to move next?" The lawyers shook their head. "No, we strike smart. We document everything, we tighten our circle, and we prepare for every scenario. This trial is 1 month away. And we can't afford leaks, panic, or betrayal to get in the way. The cousin, who had earlier accused someone of betrayal, looked grim. So we trust nobody right now, even people we've been knowing forever. Not blindly, the lawyer answered. But we don't go off rumors either. Facts only. That's the only way to survive this. This is bigger than feelings. Then came the most shocking moment yet. Another phone buzzed. This time, it was Durk's personal phone. He glanced down and froze. It was a direct message from the person, at the center of all the drama, the one talking. To the prosecution and the blogger. Durk's hand trembled slightly as he opened it. The message read, "In this dramatized story, I didn't mean for it to get this far. Just stay calm. Things can be fixed. Don't trust anyone outside the room." Everyone in the room gasped. Emotions ran high. What does that even mean? One family member asked. The lawyer took a deep breath. It means they know we know. They're scared, but they're trying to manipulate the situation. Now, more than ever, we can't show fear. We can't show reaction. We respond strategically. Durk looked around at the group. So, you saying we just play it cool? Don't confront. Don't post nothing. Just wait. Exactly, the lawyer confirmed. Any reaction could be used against us. Silence, observation, documentation. That's the key. The room nodded, but the tension didn't ease. Someone finally muttered, "Man, this is like a chess game, but with lives, careers, and reputations on the board." "That's exactly what it is," the lawyer said. "And every move counts. One slip, one leak, one wrong word, and it's chaos." Hours passed as the team went over every message, screenshot, and photo. They strategized, taking mental notes, creating mental maps of who could be trusted, and deciding how to handle each potential leak. In this dramatized story, it felt like an endless loop of paranoia and calculation. Durk finally stood up, pacing slowly. "I feel like the wall's closing in. Like everybody outside trying to control what happens inside. Feels like everybody got an angle. That's why we stick together inside the room," the lawyer said firmly. "We control the narrative internally. Externally, we wait. Don't react. Let them make the first mistake." As the night wore on, fans online, if they had any idea, would have gone wild. Rumors, speculation, and conspiracy theories could have exploded across social media. In this fictional world, the tension inside the house mirrored the chaos outside. Except the people inside could actually see the players, the moves, and the potential consequences. Just when it seemed the team might find a sliver of calm, a knock at the window startled everyone. Security rushed over. The lawyer stepped forward, frowning. The lights of a car could be seen briefly through the blinds, but when they opened the curtains, no one was there. "They're watching," one of the staff whispered. "They know we're onto them." Durk didn't speak at first. He just stared out the window, thinking, planning. Then finally, he muttered, "We gotta be ready for anything. No slip-ups. Nobody." And that's exactly where tension's peaking, new threats emerging, and the countdown to the trial getting more intense by the hour. The next morning, Durk and his team woke up with a heavy sense of anticipation. No one slept well. Everyone knew the game had changed overnight. The messages, the leaks, the photos, the unknown watchers, it was all piling up. The tension was like a weight pressing down on the room. The lawyer gathered the team around the table again. "Listen," they said calmly but firmly, "we got less than a month before trial. Everything that happened yesterday, last night, and even this morning matters. We have to make decisions, and we have to make them strategically." Durk nodded. "I hear you. But what about that person? The one talking to the prosecution, the blogger. Whoever, we just ignore them. For now, the lawyer said, they want a reaction. We don't give it to them. We control what's in our hands. Everything else is speculation. Suddenly, Durk's phone buzzed again. Everyone froze. This time, it was a video message. The lawyer took the phone first. We're going to watch this carefully, they said. The room went silent. The screen lit up, and the video showed someone's face partially obscured. Voice altered digitally, but the message was unmistakable. You're running out of time, the distorted voice said. One wrong step, and the trial doesn't just end badly, ends with a public fallout that will ruin reputations. Think carefully. Who you trust, who you move with, who you speak to. You only get one chance. Emotions ran high. One of Durk's cousins slammed their fist on the table. Yo, this is straight up intimidation. They trying to scare us. Exactly, the lawyer said, but that's why we stay calm. They want fear. They want chaos. If we give it to them, we lose more than a case. We lose control. Durk rubbed his temples. Man, they playing games. They want us paranoid, acting out. They think they can manipulate everything. Just then, the lawyer's phone rang. They answered quickly, whispering on the line. Everyone waited anxiously. After a few minutes, the lawyer hung up. Their expression was unreadable, but the tension in the room intensified. They confirmed it, the lawyer said finally. The prosecution has an internal leak. Someone on their side is afraid the case isn't airtight. That's why they've been moving hearings, sending messages, trying to provoke reactions. So, they're nervous. Durk asked. Yes, the lawyer said. But it also means they're unpredictable. We have to assume any move could be a trap. The only safe play is information control, silence, and preparation. The family and team exchanged glances. It felt like walking a tightrope over a pit of vipers. One wrong step could end everything. DURK single quotes us phone buzzed again. And this time, it was a text from a fan page that had somehow gotten hold of a snippet of the leaked conversation. The message read, heard something big about Durk. Stay tuned. This could change everything. Oh no, muttered one of Durk's longtime friends. This is gonna blow up before we even get to court. The lawyer quickly interjected. Ignore it. Don't respond. If they post, we react only with facts from our side. Let the false narratives fizzle out. Hours turned into a day filled with intense planning. The lawyer held private strategy sessions with Durk, mapping out every potential leak, every rumor, and every possible outcome. The room was a war room in every sense, with phones, laptops, notes, and screenshots piled high. As night approached, the tension hit another peak. Durk's phone rang again. This time, it was a blocked number. Hesitantly, he answered. The voice on the other end was calm, almost eerily so. Durk, the voice said. You're getting closer to the truth than you think. Don't let them break your circle. Not yet. Trust only who's in front of you. The rest is smoke and mirrors. Durk swallowed hard. Who is this? Someone who knows, the voice replied, then hung up. Everyone in the room stared at Durk. Whispers erupted. What does that even mean? Someone who knows what? Are we being watched from all sides? The lawyer leaned back, sighing. It means this isn't just a trial. It's a full-on chessboard, and every piece is moving simultaneously. Some pieces you can see. Some pieces you can't. The tension was suffocating, but it also sparked determination. Durk stood up, eyes blazing. All right, enough waiting. We take control. We tighten everything. No mistakes. No reactions to fake leaks, no chasing rumors. We decide the moves. They follow us. The team nodded in agreement. The lawyer added, "Good. Now, we map the final week before trial. Every meeting, every prep, every message, every potential leak. We cover every angle. We can't leave anything to chance." The following days were intense. Rehearsals, strategy sessions, communications, audits. Even casual conversations were scrutinized. Fans were posting theories online, but the team inside was focused on the only thing that mattered: winning the narrative and controlling the story. Before it hit the courtroom, then came another twist. A news outlet posted a story claiming that Durk's lawyer had a conflict of interest, insinuating that information might have been leaked from within the legal team. Fans were shocked. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, some defending the lawyer, some questioning loyalty. Durk called an emergency meeting. "Listen up. I know what's being said online. I know the rumors. We ignore it. Focus on facts. Focus on what we can control. Don't let outside noise shake the foundation of what we're building in here." The lawyer nodded, adding, "We document everything. Everything the media posts, everything the opposing side does. Facts, evidence, strategy. That's how we win." Finally, just a week before trial, the lawyer gathered Durk's team for a last briefing. "We're entering a critical stage. The opposing side will try every trick. Leaks, messages, intimidation. Remember, silence is power. Reaction is weakness. We are in control, and we don't give them the satisfaction of seeing us panic. Durk looked around the room, feeling the weight of leadership. This is it. No mistakes. No slip-ups. We handle everything inside these walls, and we move forward. They can't control us. They can't shake us. We run this narrative. And in that final dramatic moment, the room felt like a fortress, each member aware of the stakes. Tension, betrayal, fear, and loyalty coexisted in a way that only high-stakes drama could create. Fans outside would never know the full story. But inside, the team was ready to face the storm. One move at a time, until the trial itself would decide the outcome. And that's where the calm before the courtroom storm. The tension at its peak, and every character poised for the ultimate showdown. And just like that, the countdown to the trial is almost over. Durk and his team have survived leaks, intimidation, family drama, and betrayals. But the ultimate test is still ahead. One wrong move, one leaked message, one slip of emotion could change everything. Fans are shocked, rumors are swirling, and the family is left divided, but one thing is clear. Nobody is backing down. The tension is thick. The stakes are sky high, and the courtroom is about to become the next battleground. Will Durk's carefully laid plans hold up? Will the leaks stop, or is there more chaos waiting just around the corner? And what about the mysterious voices, the cryptic messages? The watchers outside the window they finally reveal themselves at the most critical moment. Emotions ran high, alliances were tested, and loyalties were questioned. But the drama is far from over. This is where you come in, fam. What do you think will happen when Durk steps into that courtroom? Who's really behind the leaks? And can his team survive the pressure without making a fatal mistake? We need to hear your theories, your predictions, and your hottest takes. Drop them in the comments right now. Smash that like button if you've been following this saga. And don't forget to subscribe for every update, every twist, and every shocking reveal. The story isn't done, and the drama is only getting started. Stay tuned, stay alert, and remember, when it comes to this world, things are never exactly what they seem. The next move could change everything, and you won't want to miss a single second of it.